You are listening and watching to a very special podcast. Alright, we all got the agents. We got Barrera, we got Chloe, Randy, Maggie, Tilda, Marina, Lola, and Silver. But now we're going to do another story. Something you'll all like. Finally, it's about time. Are you ready? Here we go. Just another day, huh? She was wearing black shoes, black ripped up leggings, black tank top, hair pulled up. She's got an innocent face, but she doesn't speak much. She wears a zipped up hoodie jacket. Her name is Rory Leigh. No, it used to be Stephanie, but it isn't anymore. She was getting herself ready, putting on her fingerless gloves, getting herself ready, going out for today. Rory Leigh was one of the most greatest weapons you would ever meet. You see, she can't speak. Well, she's a selective mute that doesn't really talk so much. It was because of the troubled past, and she barely spoke a word ever since she was younger. When she was little, she used to talk lots. But now, ever since the trauma she's been through, she now resorts to a mute. It's the most weirdest, craziest, strangest thing you would ever see in your entire life. She's fast. The fastest weapon, they call her. Why? Well, she was trained to be a prototype weapon. But people don't consider her a prototype. They just consider her the perfect weapon. Rory hated the word perfection, but the most word she despised of them all was none other than debutante. That word made her angry. She would bash anyone in the face if they ever call her a debutante or anyone else a debutante. Why? Nobody knows for sure. All they know is she was one heck of a bad mother chucker. A really, really bad mother chucker. She would chuck anyone that will do her wrong. But the only thing that keeps her sane is thinking about that tender embrace from him, Benjamin Hallows. Ben never meant any harm. Not to her, not to her sisters, nobody. He was just a good person, just misunderstood. He had no idea how to communicate with people. His father never even taught him about communication, not even the fact that the guy, his father, was nothing more than an abusive person, a horrible asshole, and someone who was crazy over the fact of perfection. And believe me, Rory and Ben have two things in common. They both hate perfection. That was that. And Rory will soon get her revenge against Marcello Hallows. Heck, she and her sisters were going to, but Stephanie, no, Rory could not work with them in this murderous plot. She was going to deal with it her own way. But despite all this, she was a little bit scared. Scared of the fact that What if she too had been murdered? She could have killed somebody, but she's already a trained assassin. But the most eerie thing about that is that she's only 15 years old. But she doesn't even give a damn about her reputation. The fact that she was 15, age was just a number, right? She may look young, but she holds a dark family secret. And deep down, even though she wouldn't admit it, she was really afraid of her own family because of the fact that they took a dark turn. And she was the only one to stop them. But she didn't know where to turn to for help. There she was, in a meeting with someone. Even though she couldn't speak, nobody talked for her. She managed to speak her own mind by writing down her own answers. However, people would complain by saying, you gotta learn to open your damn mouth. That's when Rory did something unspeakable. Every time she would take off her shirt, people would be appalled, and immediately they would apologize. That sounded like the strangest thing that anyone has ever seen her do. But it wasn't the, lingerie that she wore. It was rather the scars on her body. And then she would write down her question. Would you like to know where I got these scars? If anyone said yes, she would write down the full story, showed it to them, and really make them more appalled. If they say no, then she says on the notepad, well, then you don't tell me to open my mouth. If I open my mouth and if I scream, will you call the police? Because I would bash your freaking brains to the ground before you can do anything. So don't you dare try to judge me, because I'm not afraid to bash your freaking brains to the ground. Understand? That made them really scared. She was that good. She would never really want to bash anyone's brains to the floor. Never. She was a kind-hearted person. But something about that place, something about Marcello, had totally changed everything. But Rory managed to be kind to others. And here was another situation about Rory. She wasn't like the regular girls. Regular girls would go out and flirt with others. Rory does flirting with boys, but it wasn't just boys, it was also with girls too. Yes, she has an interest in girls too, both of them. While boys can be seen as hotties, broods, and beautiful things to her, girls are seen as nothing more than magical, seductive, passionate, pretty, a beauty that she would never forget. The thing about Rory is that she has an unconditional love for both boys and girls who had troubled lives, and she would love them as they are, no matter what they are. But if they were any evil, that she couldn't really bring herself towards. Sure, Rory was a bit of a strange one, but she had a kind heart. A very kind heart. But if she was manipulated, or even told what to do, she wasn't afraid to speak her mind, even if she couldn't speak. Just because she was a mute doesn't mean she doesn't know how to talk. But she vowed to herself she would never speak again because she blamed herself for not even trying to fight back against Marcello, jamming that serum into her while he violated her every single inch of her. The most disgusting man. How dare he? Performing himself, humiliating her, traumatizing her. Now Rory is not going to let that happen again. She's going to prevent from this happening over and over again. Well, isn't that intense? Yeah. Thank you so much for listening and watching. See you next time.